Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LSR TV. We are live, hopefully tonight, having some technical issues. We are going to be working on those throughout the night. We are working on those, trying to get all that sorted out. We are live on YouTube and Facebook here tonight. Obviously, quality not quite up to what we want, but again, having some issues with YouTube here tonight. So we are live on Facebook as well. Brandon Cruz will be joining us in the booth here in just a little bit. He is down in the pits talking to some drivers, getting their thoughts on the race as qualifying is officially underway. Green flag is out, even though the yellow flag is showing there. But again, qualifying underway here for the Adrenaline iRacing League. What should be a great night of racing. About 20-ish cars here, roughly in there, 18 to 20 cars. Lower car count. There's a lot of people not their favorite track here at Martinsville. So we're going to jump right into qualifying. We'll jump down with the drivers. As sitting there is Steve Durham. We'll talk about him for a minute as he is the new driver of that number 10 car here. So we'll see how he does. Brand new driver to the series. Definitely going to be interesting to see how he stacks up against this crowd. We'll come back to him here in a minute. As, of course, Ryan Hart's going to be a favorite no matter where he goes in the number 11 machine. He is at the top of the charts with the 19.826. A good run for him for sure. We'll see how he goes. Let's go over to Calvin Gretorix in the number 98 machine. It looks like another new driver. I believe there's 3 Gretorix brothers are somehow related. That we have not seen a Calvin Gretorix before, so we'll look to see that one as Steve Durham takes second fastest here so far with a 20.247. So the only 19-second time so far is going to be Ryan Hart. Even Logan Brakey just ran a 20.033, so not quite at the top. So we'll get rid of that main bar. Let's bring down your sidebar so you can see the list of drivers and how they are running. And let us know if everything is running and functioning properly on YouTube. I know we should be live on Facebook as well, so worst case scenario, you can check it out on the Facebook at LSR TV as well. It's Reinhardt still at the top. Shane Therian, driver of that number 38 Evil Controllers machine, going to jump to second fastest with a 19.927, so 0.101 behind Ryan Hart. We'll take a look and see how Slaudecker is doing, as he is not on the track here at the moment, but he will be soon in the number 45 machine, sponsored by Safelite. We'll see if he gets any glass broken. We'll see how quickly he can get it fixed with Safelite Auto Glass on that number 45 machine here tonight. Again, Brandon Cruz will be joining us here shortly down in the pits talking to some drivers to see what they think of this track here. Tanner Johnson out on the track here at the moment in the number 23 FedEx Express machine, as he is currently at 20.079. So I'll be looking to see if he can get that time just a little bit quicker. Already in the top 10, but sixth fastest anyway. Can he crack the top 5 is the question. And he is going to shut it down with that 20.079, so not going to happen. We jump over to the 79 of Herman Hart, as he is going to shut it down as well. Robert Kinney sitting at the flag stand here. I'm not sure if he's waiting to get the slowest time he can to start at the back of the field, or if he's just having a chat with the flagman. Maybe last time he was here at Martinsville, he didn't like a call the flagman made, and he is having a little chat with him. We'll see later on tonight, but nobody out on track except for Dylan Browning. With Dylan Browning out on track here at the moment, he will be qualifying. He should have time to get in. He has 37 seconds to get around this track. It only takes you about 20, so he will get at least one lap in here in qualifying. Looks like Jared Matthew and Matthew Rodriguez are not going to be qualifying here tonight, as well as Eric Stamp and Robert Kinney, of course, putting in a slow time there, sitting at the flag stand, but Dylan Browning going to take 10th fastest with a 20.345. Will be his official time, and he is not going to make it back, I do not believe, with 4 seconds left on the clock. If he does, it is going to be very close, and time is expired, so that lap should not count. But it's going to be Ryan Hartz, your pole sitter for tonight's race. We'll go ahead and get rid of your sidebar off the screen. And again, Brandon Kreutz will be joining us here shortly, as he's just down there chatting it up with the drivers here at the moment. And we definitely should see some good battles here tonight. A lot of clean racing. I don't expect to see too many cautions here. Again, about 18 drivers made the call. So we will go ahead and go through your Walls Beard Co. Beard Bombs starting grid here for tonight's race. On row 1 is going to be the 11 of Ryan Hartz and the 38 of Shane Therian. Row 2 is going to be the 29 of Logan Brakey and the 84 of Matt Dyer. Row 3 is going to be the 15 of Austin Gretorix and the 23 of Tanner Johnson. Row 4 is going to be the 61 of Bronson Stafford and the 10 of Steve Durham, the new driver here tonight on the block. And row 5 is going to be the 79 of Herman Hart and the 12 of Dylan Browning. Row 6 is going to be the 98 of Calvin Gretorix and the 45 of Cody Slaughter. Row 7 is going to be the 34 of Robert Kinney and the 53 of Eric Stamp. Row 8 is going to be the 51 of Jared Matthew and the 57 of Matthew Rodriguez. And I believe that'll do it. That will do it for your Walls Beard Co. Beard Bomb starting grid here for tonight's race. And it looks like Brandon has made his way from the pits, and he is in the booth with us. First off, welcome to the booth here tonight, Brandon. And was it a long walk up from the pits?
Yeah, let me tell you, this is a half-mile track, but that's one long walk down there from the pits all the way to the booth here on the other side of the track. So, well, happy to be here. Obviously, you know, LSR TV under new ownership, but we are still your home for sim racing. This is my first time, not my first time working with this group, but first time on the channel as it is currently. And, well, pace car pulls off. These guys gonna get ready to race here, Charles.
They are. It will take 2 laps around here. Of course, any track that is, I believe, under 1.5 miles, they take 2 laps around the track. And no surprise to see Ryan Hartz on the pole. Obviously, I believe this was the first time you've covered this league with us. But that is some heavy hitters up at the front row. You got Shane Therian and that 38 machine in the 11 of Ryan Hartz. Those are some really heavy hitters, and we have to mention here that your points leader, or was points leader, Matthew Bell, is no longer in the league, so that opened things up a ton in the point standings. When we get a caution, we'll pull those up and we'll go over them a little bit, but the pace car is ready to dive off, so we're ready to start this race. And again, you're new here with us on this channel, but not with us, so we'll let you call the green.
Ladies and gentlemen, green flag in the air as they come down the front stretch now. Front 2 heavy hitters, no matter where they go. Now down for the first time, down out of turn number 2, down the back straightaway under a green. It's going to be Ryan Hartz with the advantage off the inside. Shane Therian at 38 sticking right with them.
Matt Dyer, or as we like to refer to him as Too Sexy over here, as he had a pit sign that said Too Sexy on it. He is in that 3rd position in the 84, and he's not letting them get away. And I'm surprised here to see we are already going basically single file here. And just note, Matthew Rodriguez did not make the call. He did not leave the pits, but 15 other drivers did make the call here tonight.
So these guys going to single out for the first part of this race. 200 laps around this Martinsville Speedway. May not seem that quick of a race, but it goes by quick. Shane Therian, big wiggle down off of turn number 2 that last time by. He manages to collect it. He's going to keep himself going straight 4 wheels in the right direction, and these guys, as these tires wear, are going to be experiencing that more and more, as we already have a caution on the racetrack.
We do indeed. Steve Durham, the new driver on the block, he just joined this race. We see him going around here, so we'll take a quick look at the replay and see what happened. As we just saw Shane Theory, and she said kind of get a bobble, and then we see the 10 go around on the front stretch. I do believe it was, and we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit too much throttle there off of turn 4, and just no saving that. A little bit of a tap to the inside wall there, but I think he'll be all right. Spin it around, get it going in the right direction, and he'll be good to go.
Yeah, definitely. When you don't have any fast repairs, it is good to not get too much damage, especially early in the race. You don't want to have your night end too early, but that is not going to do it. He is going to continue to race as a Rowdy out front there. Ryan Hart in that Rowdy truck. I believe that is an energy drink, if I'm not mistaken.
That it is. It's Rowdy Energy on that truck. And again, the Evil Controllers truck behind him, that's Shane Taryn. And you know, one thing, I think this is my first time covering these guys, and I'm looking through the fields and I'm seeing a lot of fast names that I recognize throughout the whole field, and you know, this league really does look stacked, and I expect a really good race here as this race progresses.
Yeah, there are a lot of drivers. You know, this is the first season for this particular league, a Adrenaline iRacing league. But you look through the field, like you were saying, Ryan Hart, St. Theory, and Bronson Stafford, and more throughout this field that have run in another league. And, you know, these guys upwards of 6,000 and 7,000 iRating. These guys are fast, and they do a lot of racing. So I'm with you. I've seen a lot of these names before. And throughout this field, it doesn't matter where you are, first all the way back to 15th. You're going to have your hands full with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one thing that these drivers are going to really start to notice, and, you know, I don't think we're going to have anybody taking a pit stop quite yet in this race, is these trucks are going to get really loose as the run goes on, primarily through throttle. And, you know, you got to watch how heavy you're braking, too, because, you know, you have too much front brake in the car, the truck's really going to want to, or too much rear brake in the truck. The truck's going to want to step out on you on corner entry. That's something you got to watch, especially trying to make aggressive moves towards the end of this race. As far as getting off the corner, that right rear tire is going to end up wearing quite a bit off that concrete that you see there on the bottom through the corners. And, you know, on throttle, the truck's not going to like it. And you're really going to have to treat it like there's an eggshell under there as the race progresses. But now, lights up on top of the iRacing pace car are going to be shut off. These guys going to be stacked up, doubled up, and ready to go back green flag racing.
They are indeed ready to go racing. And, you know, anytime you have a restart, you know, it makes you a little bit more antsy. So you got to be on edge, like you said. Make sure those front two get a good start so everybody else behind them does, or you can stack this field up and a lot of sheet metal very quickly. And we're watching for him as the green flag does come out. And the 11 of Ryan Hart gets a good jump. 38, maybe not so much. But looks like we're going to go into turn 1 somewhat clean, as we do have the 15 of Austin Gretorix slide up and get into the 12 of Browning, though.
We got a wreck down the backstretch. Number 29, Logan Brakey, going to be tough break for him. I saw him get sideways off of turn number 2 there, and it looked like exactly what I was talking about. He got up out of the groove, the back end stepped out on him, up into the wall, and off the restart, nowhere for the trucks behind him to go. Everybody stacks up into him and into the wall, and I'd say that's the Martinsville big one.
That is definitely right there as you watch the replay. Just gets it into the outside wall, and that definitely crashes, I would say, a good chunk of this field. That's definitely the big one. I think one of the biggest losers on that one, unfortunately, is going to be the 79, and I'm not sure who that other driver was.
It's probably the 79 and the 51. I think are going to end up having the most damage out of that, besides the 29 machine, and you know, some really big hits. And I'd say probably the 3 of those machines are all going to be done for the race.
Yeah, definitely. There's the 51 of Jared Matthew. as he is barbecuing some hot dogs and hamburgers on the pit road as that engine is smoking heavily. We'll see. The smoke seems to have gone away, so looks like somehow if he manages to make it back into this race, I will be shocked, because that was some heavy barbecue going on down in pit road.
Man, I haven't eaten dinner yet, and you're talking about barbecues and hot dogs and hamburgers, and it's making my stomach growl a little bit.
Well, I know the feeling. You know, this race kicks off at 5:30 Central Time for me, which is right in the middle of dinner time. So we did not get to eat, and unfortunately, when we got here, the concession stand wasn't open either. So
you didn't get yourself one of those classic Martinsville hot dogs?
I did not. So you know, maybe if
man.
there's one down there where someone can bring us one, that would be great.
Oh yeah, bring it right up to the LSR TV booth, and we'll give you a little bit of a tip.
Yes, tip for sure. We'll pay you for your time. As the 38 coming down pit road along with a few other drivers. It's still Ryan Hart's out front leading this thing, already having a fairly good wreck, and we have about half the field on pit road right now. We'll see who makes it off, and several drivers going to go a lap down. Good news is it's Martinsville, so I expect to see a few more cautions. So some of these guys that are 1 and 2 laps could be back in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's the one good thing about this place is you go down laps so quick, but I think that there's going to be enough cautions to kind of round everybody back up. It gives a good opportunity for guys to get their laps back. But as we come out of turn 2, heading down the backstretch under yellow, lights up on top of the iRacing official Ford Mustang pace car are off. It's going to be making its way back in this time. By makes that hard left turn down into the safety of pit road. Again, going to be Ryan Hart in that 11 machine, taking these guys back to green flag. Matt Dyer to his outside, green flag in the air. Awesome restart there from the 11. Ryan Hart's heading down at a corner number 1. These guys going to single out real quick throughout the top 5.
And Matt Dyer going to take advantage of Ryan Hart's issue there. He slides up the track, got in a little too hot, and there he is again.
It was the 11 of Hart's.
Something gone wrong here with your pole sitter and race leader. He spins it out all by himself. No need for a replay. We watched it live. That's the second time. He saved it the first time, and the second time, not so much. He goes around, quite a bit of damage to the back. The good news is the front looks good, but aerodynamics, not necessarily a huge issue. He could still be in this race.
Good job to everybody avoiding that mess heading down into corner number 3. Charles, I think that's one of the main issues that I was just talking about is these guys run rear brakes trying to get that truck to rotate on entry of the corner. He got in there. He tried to take an aggressive stance into the corner, and he locked up those rear tires, and around the truck went.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta, you know, this is one of those tracks, you know, it's nothing like Daytona or Talladega, but they have similarities. Obviously, the big one, which we saw a second ago, but this is one of those tracks where you really have to finesse the car. You can't just, you know, go diving into a corner as fast as you can. You really have to get a certain line and run it smooth, and you can't overdrive the car, just like at Daytona or Talladega. You can't, you know, make too big of aggressive moves, or you'll have a Ricky Stenhouse moment and end up taking out the entire field. So you really have to be smooth with your motions in the car here.
So after everything unfolds, Matt Dyer in that 84 machine is going to be coming out as your leader. Looks like Austin Greater X going to be coming out in second place in that number 15 machine. The 10, Steve Durham, Bronson Stafford, and Shane Tarrant going to be rounding out your top 5 during this caution period.
And again, cautions don't seem to take too long around here. Right now, that should give somebody the wave around. We'll see. We have a couple of drivers entering and leaving pit road. The 53 of Eric Stamp getting on pit road. And at the moment, it looks like the 98 of Calvin Gertorx is going to make his way off of pit road. He spent 4.5 minutes there, actually in his pit stall, but he is back on the racing surface. 7 laps down, but again, I'm not going to count anybody out just yet.
Now, especially at a place like Martinsville, you can't count anybody out. You can tell who the fast guys are, but as we just saw, Ryan Hart's a really fast driver. Takes one mistake, going either in or out of these corners and racing hard, and we saw the consequences of that. So, yeah. But once again, these guys are going to be doubled up and ready to go racing.
We're about to see if it happens again. Like you said, a pace car dives off. We are 21 laps in when we actually take the green. We'll have completed 21 laps of the 200. And a green flag does come out. Matt Dyer in the 84-year race leader. The 15 of Austin Gretorix behind him. And we safely make it through turn 1. But I believe Cody Slaudecker is going to have that same issue. He slides up and loses about 4 spots. Or 3 spots.
Matt Dyer going to maintain the lead. Battle for second now. It's going to be the 15 on the outside. Bronson Stafford trying to take position on the inside now, heading down into the corner. Now down at a corner number 2. Not going to be successful. We got one truck up into the wall. So far, everybody stays green.
It's situational awareness, a big key here, as we talked about a second ago. Oh, as Cody Slaudecker gets around.
Oh, big hit down the front straightaway.
So far, no caution being called for this one. They're out of the racing service, and there finally will be the yellow. And it looks like Ryan Hartz may be involved in that one. He is not showing a lap down, but he is off the race. So we'll see. He was right here involved in this. So our pole sitter may be out of this race now. And right there, indeed, he gets collected with the 45.
Ryan Hart's taking it behind the wall. He's done for the night. Cody Slaudecker taking it behind the wall. He's going to be done for the night. As well as a couple others getting pretty significant damage from that whole thing. Oh. Big impact. So, again, as we saw, the 45 just a little bit too much throttle off that outside line, trying to make an aggressive move, trying to hold his position. And the back end just kicked out and got away from him. And unfortunately, it led to a significant wreck down the front stretch.
And, you know, we can't lose too many more cars. We won't have much of a field. Again, a lot of people, unfortunately, don't like this track. And this is one reason. You know, you never know what you're going to get here. This another similarity to those super speedways. You just never know what's going to happen. But good news for the 12 of Dylan Browning. He is going to get a wave around and get his lap back.
So he will get the lap down go around here.
Interesting enough, Matt Dyer still your race leader. Obviously, Ryan Hart's out of the race now. So 2 of your heavy hitters here that possibly could have given him a run for his money out. But you still have Bronson Stafford and Robert Kinney behind him. And those are no slouch themselves. They are going to be right up on his back bumper. And especially Kenny, he is itching to get a win. Hasn't had one yet this season, I do not believe. So he is definitely 1-1. And for that matter, I'm not sure Bronson Stafford has one either.
Yeah, you mentioned those drivers. Shane Tarrant's still back there also trying to hang strong. And I expect to see him up front by the end of this thing also.
Definitely he will be there. And talk a little bit about the veterans in here. Let's jump back to the rookie in here tonight. He had that issue at the very start. That is Steve Durham. He's back in 7th place. He is on the lead lap in the number 10 machine. So I'm not going to count him out yet the way it's going. He could be up at the front at any time as we look at his information. He started 8th. He's in 7th. His lowest was 14th after that incident. So, you know, from 14th, he's worked his way double that, or half that technically, up to 7th. So he still has a shot tonight.
Pace car is going to be making that hard left turn into pit road this time. The field is stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing now. Again, your front row going to be Matt Dyer, Bronson Stafford to his outside. These guys get into the restart zone. He fires them up. Green flag is back in the air.
It is, and we'll see another good, clean start at the line. They come into turn one. All is good. And looks like maybe we've got the quick cautions out of the way, but something wrong with Robert Kinney as he is slowed on the inside, and he is going to fall from about third all the way to ninth place. So something gone wrong with that 34 machine.
Bronson Stafford tried to hang on tight for the lead. Now he cuts to the inside. The 84 slips up the track. Look out. Here comes Taryn to his inside. Where'd he come from?
Now, he was up front to begin, fell back, and here he is back to the front one more time. Evil controllers, you know, you just can't trust anything evil. You never know where they're going to come from to get you on the sneak side, as that's what he's about to do to take the lead back. He cuts to the inside, and Shane Therian is your new race leader once again.
Stafford slipped up the track, and it was that easy for the 38 machine. Now out front controlling this race. Stafford still back there. Now he's got company from Matt Dyer. Dyer looks to the inside, not going to make it happen that time. He's going to ride behind. Single file throughout the top 10.
A lot of action happening in just one lap. They single file out, like you said. And now Bronson Stafford, he's got his hands full with that 84 Matt Dyer. Looking to get the win, and Logan Brakey back there. That car looks a little broken, and he is battling in the fourth position. Durham up already 2 spots to fifth place. Got himself a top 5 for the rookie here tonight, but Shane Therian, once he got the lead, he has checked out from this field.
Looks like we could potentially have a battle soon back here for the fourth position. Steve Durham going to be trying to get to the back bumper of that 29 machine in front of him. Again, 29 machine showing some damage from an earlier incident, but he's still hanging strong there in the fourth position.
He definitely is. And I'm going to go back a little further here and check on some of our lap cars. Austin Rhetorics, the machine looks like it went through a minefield, but he is in 10th position, 3 laps down, just hoping to get those laps back. And Calvin Rhetorics back there in the mix of things in 11th position, but he is not by himself on this track. He's got the 12 of Dylan Browning, who is not a lap down. He is on the lead lap, and he is trying to get by him. So stuck behind lap cars, probably one of the worst things that can happen to you on a racetrack. You can't progress because of lap cars in front of you.
And I would like to just point out back up towards the front, Shane Taryn is running about 0.3 faster a lap than the rest of the field. So your fast runner so far fell off a little bit that time by, but still about 0.2 faster.
At 20.3 to 20.5. He is a rocket ship here tonight. We'll see just how evil that number 38 machine is, as he's always wicked fast out there. Bronson Stafford, I thought he would have his hands a little more full, but you know, Matt Dyer and all these guys, they're veterans here. They know how this goes, and once they get single file, they may kind of calm down here for a minute and just kind of ride this out. Again, we're only on lap 39 of 200. You have a lot of time to get around this track. There's really no need to press too many issues just yet.
Now, go time for me would be, for here, depending on where I am, would be the last 50 to the last 30 laps. You know, if you're sitting there riding in third and you want to gain that extra position, you wait till the very end of the race. You know, at least that 3/4 mark, you don't want to risk damaging anything early. In order to be in the race at the end, you got to save your stuff. So, you know, I think that's what these guys are doing now. I think we got all the quick cautions out of the way, and these guys are going to ride around for a little bit, and they're gonna try to save their stuff, because now you're playing the tire game. You really got to try to save these tires, you know, in order to be able to drive this machine the way that you want to.
Yeah, you really do. And, you know, we tried to get some fuel mileage from these guys here, but everyone pretty zipped up about how many laps they get on a tank of fuel, so we don't have that information here for us tonight, but it's going to be interesting to see when the leader comes down, because if we continue with this trend, we will have some green flag stops here tonight. or at least one, possibly two, I would think. Uh, Once you see that leader come down, when are you going to come down to, pit with them, or are you going to try to beat them to pit road? What's your strategy? Obviously, you do a little bit more racing than I do, but what's that strategy? You come in, try to sneak in before they do, or do you come in just promptly right after they do?
A place like Martinsville, the you may end up benefiting a little bit from short pitting, but I really want to try to stay as close as I can to the leader and what he's doing. So I try to take it, as far as I can here on a fuel run, and just go from there. Maybe short pitting a lap or two before the leader could benefit you, but you don't know what the leader's going to do himself, and that's on these teams to try to figure out what their best strategy for their position is going to end up being.
And hopefully you got a good spotter out there that'll tell you the leader is pitting, especially, for prime example, if you're someone like Dylan Browning, who's on the lead lap, but you are currently 14 seconds behind the leader, not only is he way behind and he's going to have to listen to a spotter to know when the leader is pitting because he's not going to be able to see him, he's actually in jeopardy of going a lap down, especially when he's running 21.2s and you got the leader Shane Therian running 20.3s. That is a huge difference in lap time, so he's either got to pick it up just a little bit or hope for a caution that doesn't send him another lap down after just getting it back.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I can tell by the way that these guys are driving. They're not trying to drive too aggressively, or they're all trying to save their stuff at this moment. And, another factor is as this track rubbers up, that's going to start to get a little bit slick also. So, these guys going to be wheeling and dealing here at the Martinsville Speedways as these trucks are best at doing here.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I'm not sure, maybe you can enlighten us on this a little bit. The pit road, is it a different pavement than the actual racing surface? If it is, that's going to cause issues probably here tonight for somebody, as getting on pit road is not the easiest thing in the world here at Martinsville.
Well, I think as long as you're easy coming down the back straightaway, it's not necessarily the speeding that these guys got to be concerned about. It's just getting slowed down enough to where they can make that turn right at the entrance of pit road. It's a very small 35 mile an hour or so speed limit here, and fortunately they're only hitting about 120 by the end of the straightaway, so it won't be too bad for these guys getting in.
Yeah, and while we were talking there up towards the front, Bronson Stafford got by Matt Dyer, and then in the process got in a little hot to the corner and ended up losing second to Matt Dyer and third to Steve Durham. So, just like that, he gets the spot and then loses two, so now he's got his work cut out for him even more, as it was literally within one set of corners that all that happened. So how quickly things can change for you here at Martinsville.
Somebody who's showing a really promising amount of speed for this point in the race is that number 10 machine of Durham, and he's closing in quickly on the back bumper of Matt Dyer right now. So I think that's going to be a contender in this race also. Obviously, we look at Shane Tarrant, who's out front at the moment, but, this 10 machine, I think, is going to be one of my other picks for tonight. He's showing a good amount of speed for where we are in the run, and I think as long as he can save his stuff enough to get through these green flag runs, he's going to be in a great position to win this race.
Yeah, I definitely agree he is. Again, it comes down to just being, like you said, hitting your marks. Don't overdrive. Don't do anything overly aggressive, or dare I say stupid. You just have to be smooth here at Martinsville. These guys are doing that, as we've had a now roughly 25 lap stint since some of these guys came down pit road. We already have drivers that have 3 pit stops. Someone like Steve Durham have been down pit road 3 times already. So has Logan Brakey and Eric Stamp. So again, this isn't like a Daytona or Talladega where you get damage and you're out. You can have some aero damage and it not affect you too much. You can't have too much of it or it will affect how the car handles. But as long as that truck will handle okay, a little bit of damage isn't going to slow you down too much.
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing you want to do, you really want to keep your nodes clean. You want to keep all of the internals of the truck protected as far as motor, driveline, and everything else goes. That's the biggest thing. Cosmetic damage, these guys are not worried about. That's why you see some of these guys with damage still running up towards the front. You know, for example, that 29 machine was still having a good run. So, you know, that's the main thing. You want to keep your nose clean. You want to keep all of the internals and the important parts of the truck that operate the whole thing to stay in one piece.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep the internals nice in pristine shape. Body panels, nah, who needs them anyway, right? Just run with the roll cage just to be safe.
Yeah, it's a modified driver.
Yeah, there you go, just to make the truck a modified and bring it out onto the track. But the 29, like you said, out there. And there's some worse out there. If you go back to the 10th position, Austin Gretorix. Again, they say GoPros are tough. Well, it's going to have to be on that back bumper of that number 15 machine, as it is beaten up pretty badly. And then we go a little bit further to the 23 of Tanner Johnson. He's got quite a bit of damage to the front, but you see still running, even though he is a lap down. Shane Therian out there still just dominating 20.6. So he has slowed down just a little bit by about 0.3 seconds, but still about 0.2 faster than everyone on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, he continues to prove that he can tick off those consistent lap times, and he proves that he really is a force to be reckoned with here tonight at Martinsville. And it's going to take a lot for these guys to be able to catch him.
Yeah, that definitely is. And, you know, I want to just talk about one thing real fast here. Is, you know, I just mentioned, 10 minutes ago, that we were only on lap 21. We're on lap 65. And, you know, we are ticking away laps in a hurry now that we're past that little, early race caution. And, of course, we will have one more caution at the stage caution, the completion of lap number 100. But how quickly laps can get turned down here, just like that, snap of a finger, and you're halfway through the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is absolutely correct. You know, one thing I'm noticing about Terran's line here as he continues to lead this race by a significant amount is he kind of is apexing the corner a little bit later than everybody else. He'll drive the truck down to about mid-track, entering the corner, and then he'll cut it down for exit. So, you know, I think that's where he's getting his quick lap times from, a little bit of a late apex, and I think that's what you really got to do here in these trucks is to get it set up right, to get that good run off of the corner. And now I'm noticing even he's running about a half a lane up from where everybody else is off that curb there.
He definitely is. And, you know, the slight problem with, you know, trying to run the line he's run is he's so far ahead you can't see him. And, you know, that is part of racing. When you're right next to someone, right behind them, you can see where they're running because they're right there and kind of try to mimic that. See if your truck will handle it where his is, and get the speed they're getting. But when you can't see them because they're so far ahead, you know, you can't kind of copycat that line. So he is set pretty good right now. But again, here in 30 laps, when we get a caution, you're going to have Matt Dyer back on his back bumper. And even Steve Durham, who, again, the new guy on the block, we don't know how. Now that he's up at the front, does he have something for Shane Therian once he can see what line he's running?
Yeah, he's sitting back there in that third position and, you know, still running. He's still not running quite as fast lap times as that 38 machine is up front, but he's pretty close to it, as is the rest of the fields. And one thing I've been looking around at the different drivers and noticing is that these lap times that everybody's running right now are really, really close. You know, Terran's still running about 0.2 laps faster per lap, but everybody else throughout the field is running very, very close together. So I think maybe if you get that opportunity, maybe under a caution or even under green flag pit stops, to make any sort of adjustment to the vehicle, that could help pretty much everybody here.
It definitely could. And something else noteworthy of pointing out here, looking at Matt Dyer and Steve Durham here as the battle for second is on, and even Bronson Stafford. I want to look at their last lap times here as we're about to score some others. 20.897 for Matt Dyer, has not pitted yet. Steve Durham, 21.062, and he's pitted 46 laps ago. So 73 laps stint for Matt Dyer, 47 now for Steve Durham, and yet the tire now is on that last lap, 20.8 and 20.9. There's not a whole lot of difference in the lap times between those two, and one hasn't pitted and one's pitted 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's what I go back to what I talked about earlier, is it's exactly how you save your stuff throughout this race. If you're driving the truck in deep every corner and try to really power off, and you're cranking that wheel all the way through the corner, or you're sliding that right rear around, the truck isn't going to be happy with you, and thus your lap times are going to be a lot slower. If you save your stuff throughout this race, you have a way better opportunity at gaining position.
And apparently the 84 Matt Dyer is listening in on our radio conversations. We say he has not pitted. He is going to bring it down pit road, and I assume for 4 tires and some fuel here. Maybe listening in on the radio here with us, as he is going to take tires. We know he's going to have to take fuel, and we'll see. He's going to go at least 1 lap down, and he only takes right side tires 9 seconds on pit road, and spins it coming off pit road almost.
For him getting off pit road. Big trouble for him getting off pit road. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Spinning the tires down there, coming out of the pits, and a little bit of contact with that 15 machine. Also, Matt Dyer, that's going to hurt him in the long run, especially. You know, I mean, obviously not much contact there with either one of the wall or the 15 machine, but just the time in general that he lost trying to get that truck back up and going.
And you wonder if it had anything to do with just taking those 2 tires. You know, you got a set. He's only on pit road for 9 seconds. These tires get hot, you know, and really 9 seconds isn't enough to cool down those tires. So you have really hot tires, really cold, fresh tires. You come out of pit road, and I believe that may have been a mistake, because he's coming back down pit road once again.
I don't know if it's for possible penalty coming down out of pit road there.
We'll see. How close was he to that blue line? It could have given him an unsafe pit exit coming out of pit road. We will find out here momentarily as he's bringing that 84 machine down the pit road. If he services, we know I don't believe it's a penalty, but he is just sitting there. No tires going on to the car. And we'll keep an eye on that time, but he's sitting there for about 15, 16 seconds. So he may have opted to come down and just get that little bit of damage repaired too. That's going to be a tough one to call. He's there over
I believe it may be a speeding penalty. He hit about, I believe the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. He hit about 35 or so. So I don't know what his decision is going to be here.
And he does go ahead.
Now he's rolling. So I believe it was a speeding penalty coming off of pit road.
43 seconds in the stall here. In 43 seconds, when you're running 20 seconds, that's, that's 2 laps that he's gone down now. So, that is just a heartbreaker for that 84, as he was probably a top contender and had at least a top 3 finish tonight.
Yeah, he probably got the penalty. He probably just decided to get a little bit of that damage fix that he got with the contact of that wall, because it was a pretty good contact there. Well, we'll see where he ends up. He's a fast race car, so if he can If he can make up ground, if we get a couple of cautions here, maybe get a couple of laps back, then he'll be in good condition.
He will started in the 4th position, currently in 9th. And due to that pit stop issue, that is the lowest he's been all day. 5 laps down. That's a huge deficit, but again, anything is possible. He's just came down pit road, so I would imagine that he will take the wave around here at the completion of the halfway stage, get one of those laps back. That'll put him 4 laps down. Then he's really got to fight his way to the front or hope for some cautions to get him back on the lead lap. But Shane Therian's still out front here. He has now led 56 laps, by far the most of anybody here tonight in that number 38 Evil Controllers Chevrolet. Toyota, my bad.
So these guys still rolling around here strong. I believe all of these guys are going to wait it out to that halfway stage break here to do their pit stops. I do believe that these guys can make it pretty easily on fuel.
Yeah, I definitely think fuel...
Oh, man, Taryn got really loose there. He clipped that curb coming off of turn 2. A little bit of slideways action going on there.
Yeah, dirt track and adjust a little bit. You know, it looks relatively flat from our angle. But trust me when I say that little yellow stripe down there is not just paint. It is a dandy and a doozy when you hit it, as the caution is out.
Going to be for the 84 machine. Bad luck continues for Matt Dyer. Down off of turn number 4. He got back in the throttle and just around the truck went.
Oh, you know, sometimes you have Lady Luck on your side. And once again, not a hard hit, but Lady Luck has left him at the altar here tonight. So he is all alone in the number 84 machine with no Lady Luck on his side. But we'll see. Obviously, he's not going to get any waiver or lucky dog, but he could potentially still get a wave around, I believe. I'm not sure what the official word is on that, if he was involved in the caution. Now we will see if the wave around is going to be issued for him, as he is possibly going to get it. He is staying out. The question is, how many people are going to come down pit road? I know we have at least one taker.
The 84 machine comes down pit road now.
So 84 coming down, so obviously will not be receiving a wave around. Shane Therian, your race leader, comes down. So he's going to give up the lead for tires and fuel. And again, I'm kind of shocked by this, but I'm not really, because we are about 7 laps away from the stage caution, and I'm pretty sure we'll have to confirm with the race control. They still will throw a caution for the stage. This one will not go to lap 100 under yellow, so we're gonna have like a 2, maybe 3 lap shootout to the end of the stage.
So as of right now, that puts the 10 machine of Steve Durham in the lead. Back behind him, it's going to be the 29 Logan Brakey. So those two staying out. And they're going to have the fresh tire 38 machine of Shane Taryn behind them.
And, you know, if I'm Shane right now, this is, you know, a little bit of a scary moment for me. When you have people in front of you with, like, Steve Durham, 68 laps on his tires. Logan Brakey, 69. You're sitting in the 3rd position, technically, as the 29 will actually should get a wave around there. He has a 53 and 29 going to get a wave around. So now you've got 2 guys with 69 and 70 laps on their tires, gonna be inside and outside, and then you have you on the inside row. So I'm gonna be a little cautious. I'm probably not gonna gas it as fast as I might, because with them on the inside and outside and the green flag coming out this time, anything's possible.
Anything is possible. It's going to be an interesting restart here as these guys fire in the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. A good jump for that 10 machine. We got to remember, too, that Terran's on new tires. He's on cold tires. So that could play a factor as well, but he's right up on the back bumper of that 29 machine. Look at Stafford trying to look to the inside now. He's going to get there just off of corner number 4. A power move to the inside for the lead. Contact on the back straightaway. Around goes the 29. Contact with Terran.
Contact was made, and that is what we were afraid of. Old tires versus fresh tires. Let's go back and take a look. And if we can, let's go to the aerial view here tonight, brought to you by All-American Pools, and see what happened. Right there, the 61 sticks his nose in, gets a little bump to the 10, doesn't quite work. He does go through 3 wide down the front stretch, and it does not work out, and the 29 pays the price for it as he gets hit and then into the inside wall.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest issue there, is that the drivers were 3 wide, and I don't think any of them knew at that point that they were 3 wide, or if that any of them were clear of each other. And, you know, that was big contact with the 38 between the 29 and the concrete wall there to his outside. And, you know, that was just a tough situation. I'm going to call that racing. Is just there was really not a lot of room to be shared there in a 3 wide situation.
Yeah, this track, not a whole lot of real estate to battle for, and everybody's looking for one spot, and that's the front. And it's going to be Bronson Stafford in this 61 that really gets the advantage there. He is able to get to the front. Lucky for Stafford here that this is not dirt track racing. If this was dirt track racing, that would have probably been called back to the last completed lap, and he would have had to give that spot back. But this is NASCAR-style asphalt racing, and that is not the case. So he will be your race leader as the 84, Matt Dyer, right behind him. He's about to get one of his laps back.
So, 61 stays out for this caution period. He still is on fresher tires. I don't know if the 84 is going to get the wave around or not. Obviously, the leader is still in front of him. I don't think he's going to be... He's definitely not going to be the lucky dog. So, he may end up getting put to the tail of the field to try this all over again.
Yeah, and that caution will put us to the stage. So officially, then it looks like, or unofficially anyway, that would put Bronson Stafford as your recipient of those 10 bonus points for the stage win. So lots of things transpiring here, you know. It's like we're going in a cycle here, a trend. We had those early cautions, then we have a long green flag run, and then cautions again. So if that's the trend, then I say after this caution here, we should be set to go almost to the end. And if it does continue, we may end up with a green-white checkered here tonight at some point.
Absolutely. Pace car getting ready to pull in now, this time by... And the lights go back on. Race control not quite ready to go back green, so lights come back on the pace car. We'll try this 1 to green, this time by once again. Just want to run through the front row with you real quick. Bronson Stafford still in that #1 position. Steve Durham now on fresh tires in the 10 to his outside. So it'll be interesting off this restart to see what he can do. Eric Stamp going to be in that 3rd position. Robert Kenny going to be in 4th. And looks like in 5th, it's going to be Logan Brakey in that 29 machine.
Yeah, definitely.
So, as we look at it right now, it's only the top 6 cars that are on the lead lap. Shane Tarrant pitted under this caution period, so he is going to be scored 6th for right now. But as we know, he has a lot of speed in that race machine. Green flag back in the air.
And great as the green flag comes out. The 53 of Eric Stamp gets a little bobble, but he gets back in control of it and doesn't spin it out. So good save for him. And you know, I'm liking this front row here as we go back racing. Bronson Stafford, the veteran here, versus Steve Durham, kind of the rookie. So you have the veteran and the rookie. And you know, as the saying goes, I want to see if Steve Durham and this rookie can rattle that veteran's chain here.
Drove it a little bit too hard there, down off of corner number 4 that time by, but still pulling away from the third place machine of Robert Kenny. Robert Kenny going to be trying to hold his ground. He's got company behind him. That's Eric Stamp.
Eric Stamp coming in there. Shane Natharian in the 5th position. He's got 6 laps on those tires. He came down. He's been on pit road 4 times already. Quite a bit of damage to the back. But quite frankly, I don't think there's a truck out here, with the exception of maybe a Stafford, that doesn't have some sort of damage on it at this point. Maybe the 23. No, the 23's got front end damage as well. So typical Martinsville short track racing, you know, the sheet metal department in the race shop is going to have their hands full at the end of the night.
Robert Kenny has his hands full right now. Speaking of, he's got the 53 to his inside now, trying to make a move. A little bit of contact. The 34 up into the outside wall. Hard contact now. He's going to keep it going. We stay green flag racing. Those two trucks look like the one truck came up and Kenny came down, and well, that was the end of that.
Yeah, definitely that was into that. Luckily not bringing out a caution. I say luckily, it depends on who you are on this track right now. Luckily for those guys, however, if you're someone like Dylan Browning who's 1 lap down, that's unlucky, because that would have given you the lucky dog, assuming you hadn't been involved in it at some way, or actually you still could have got the wave around. But like I said, Bronson Stafford got a nice, clean truck, and the 10 car of Steve Durham, not too much damage behind him. But Eric Stamp now, because of that little incident on the track, those two front two have really pulled away from the rest of this field. But I'm still watching Shane Therian back there to see if he's able to run those front two down, as he has been the dominant truck pretty much all the race long.
He's all the way up to that 4th position now. He has 3rd and 2nd pretty much in sight. Or he's got 3rd, Eric Stamp, in sight, in his sight for the next position that he wants. And he's reeling him in quick.
Yeah, he's definitely going to reel him in quickly here. See if he can get miles. We go past the flag stand. 1:14 of 200. We only have 87 laps to go. So this race is going to be over very quickly here tonight, assuming we stay green. And even with a few cautions, still going to go quickly. As Martinsville is just like that. Again, it is a little tiny track, 0.49 miles. 200 laps is only 98 miles. You know, it's almost further, actually, it's further to drive across the state of Texas than it is to run 200 laps at this track.
Yeah, it's the one of the smallest circuits that these guys will go to on the season, just a half-mile round.
Checking in with some track temperatures as well here. 96 degrees is your track temp, so it's not, you know, it's not cool, but it's not real hot either. I know you've seen it and I've seen it both. We've seen these tracks get a lot hotter than this, upwards of 114, 120 degrees. So this track is awfully cool in comparison, but still a little toasty out there. And we're going to go single file, but Shane Therian has caught the 53, and he'll pass him just like that. And Shane Therian moves into the 3rd position.
Shane Therian making his way up through the field quickly here now. These guys are pretty much all singled out.
And, you know, I will say it's a smaller field than we're used to seeing here, too. Compared to most tracks, but again, some drivers not liking this track, opting to not come here tonight and pack back up for next week. But for the drivers that are here, just a quick update real fast. Out of the 15 that started, All but 3 are on track. Cody Slaudecker out of this race, 97 laps down. Ryan Hart's your pole sitter is also out of the race, 96 laps down. And Austin Gretorix is on pit road right now for 5.5 minutes. Everybody else is on track, and of course Matthew Rodriguez didn't make the start here tonight. So everyone that pretty much started is on track, so good news for them.
As these guys are singled out, some fun facts about the Martinsville Speedway. And obviously in Martinsville, Virginia, can hold 65,000 people. Obviously owned by International Speedway Corporation. They broke ground for the Speedway in 1947 and opened in 1947. It's a half-mile oval, obviously, and the banking in the turns is just 12 degrees. The fastest lap ever turned around this place was 18.746 seconds by Greg Sachs in 1986 in the Welland Modified Tour.
And that is not a lot of banking here. You know, I'm not even sure what the banking is at, like some Talladega or Daytona, but you can tell just by looking as Bronson Stafford comes through the corner here, compared to something like Daytona or Talladega. You could probably stand on this banking. I'm pretty sure you'd almost be leaning forward and fall over if you were to stand on the banking just straight up at Talladega or Daytona. So the banking significantly lower than something like that. And, these little short tracks are good for fast speed too, though.
Yeah, a half mile, these guys are getting up to, on old tires, about 120 miles an hour here. And so, yeah, very fast paperclip here that we call the Martinsville Speedway. And, 12 degrees banking. That's a pretty flat racetrack compared to the about 36 degrees that Daytona has. And as you said, Charles, it's very tough to even stand on the banking at Daytona International Speedway. This is pretty flat racetrack.
Yeah, it definitely is. And as we talk about speed and someone who's caught the leader now, Durham all over the back bumper of Stafford right now. Stafford's trying his best to hold them off, and he's doing a good job. There's about a car length and a half, maybe two, between those at the moment. But that's not what I'm worried about. Enough Stafford, I'm not worried about Steve Durham. What I'm worried about is that green and black number 38 that's creeping into the picture now. We'll keep an eye on it. 3.1 seconds separating first and third right now. And again, we'll keep tabs on that, but it is drastically shrinking now, 3.0. So he is slowly but surely reeling in those front two drivers. I would say probably within 10, 15 laps, he will probably be right there on their back bumpers.
Yeah, he has both of those drivers in his sights right now. We could have a potential battle for the lead here coming up. The 10 machine right on the back bumper of Stafford in that 61 now. That time out of corner number 2. Down into corner number 3. The gap expands just a little bit, but he's sticking with him.
Yeah, we go on board with Durham here. Of course, thanks to Northwest Racing Series for that. And he is right there. He can see the tail lights, see the back sponsor, and read Toyota Tundra on that back bumper. When you are that close, he's doing a lot of driving. And so we got a car going around. That is the 29, stopped on the front stretch. I'll go back and check out Logan braking and see what happened.
Looked like coming out of turn 4, the truck broke loose on him, and he did all he could to try to save that thing, and it snapped around back into the outside wall, and he slammed the brakes. He had traffic coming, and that did it. That'll bring out the caution flag once again here.
Ooh, and I don't know who that was. I believe it was a 98 of Calvin Gertors. Almost took out his back bumper. Lucky for him, he didn't. Or that could have been a lot uglier with all those leaders coming up behind him. We could have seen 2, if not 3, of our leaders taken out in that wreck. A lucky break for the front 2 runners. That did not happen. Bronson Stafford is still your race leader. He's now led several laps, and he is going to bring it down, and he's going to lead the entire field, at least on the lead lap, down pit road, and no surprise there. We are on lap 133 with 68 laps to go. We know they can probably make it on fuel, so I think this is more for tires.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you may see these guys add a full tank of fuel anyways, just to try to get that truck to keep rotating through the corners. That little bit of weight sloshing around there in the back where the fuel cell is can actually play to your advantage at a racetrack such as Martinsville.
Yeah, it definitely can. We've seen it before. You know, it's a weight thing. You want that weight back there to make that truck handle just a little bit better.
I think
to
the
the ground.
61 ended up maybe getting a penalty there for speeding on pit road.
21.1 seconds on pit road. So definitely something happening there for him. As Shane Therian back to the front here as a good stop for him, 13.8 seconds. As he now once again your race leader. The question is, can he maintain that lead? Because obviously, you got some people that really would love to get it, and he's going to come back down pit road.
So the 61, as I figured out, stayed. No penalty for the 61, but he did stay to get a little bit of that front end damage on his truck fixed. So he's trying to get some of that cosmetic work done, trying to keep his truck in good condition, and trying to make sure he has good airflow to that radiator, as he did have quite a bit of damage to the front end of that racetrack.
Yeah, we'll see. Now you can see it pins up a little bit. And I said he was the one that didn't have any damage as the lights go off. So it looks like I was incorrect on that. Everybody in this race basically has damage. As you have trucks trying to catch the field here, the pace car dives off. We will go back to racing this time by. And there it is. Green flag is out, and we are racing.
61 goes around in the back. Stafford is around. Caution flag flies again.
Just like that, the damage he got repaired is now going to have to be repaired once again. We watched it live, so we won't go back to the replay. No need. But right there, just hits the gas and gets into the inside wall. We've seen that be a trend here so far this race. We've seen several people hit the gas, and it just doesn't go in the direction they're wanting it to.
Well, he hit the gas coming off of turn 4 for the restart, and obviously still on those cold tires, which plays a huge effect at any racetrack in these vehicles. They got to get the heat in them, and he fired it up, and the rear tires lit up on him, and he just could not hang on to it.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're talking about someone like Bronson that's, you know, a seasoned veteran here on iRacing, and see them spin, it goes to show you that, you know, this is racing. It's not some planned out sport where you know who's going to win or anything like that. Anything can happen. It can happen to anybody at any time on the racetrack. So, you know, your best bet is to hope it's not you and hope you don't even get involved in it. But looks like he's going to be scored somewhere around 7th position right now. And I'm not sure. I didn't see him go a lap down, so he's just ahead of the leaders. He'll be waved around here momentarily, I'm sure. But
yeah, where he fell into place, he got stuck behind the pace car. All of those cars in front of the leader, those 2 cars in front of the leader, will be getting a wave around once we get the 1-to-go signal.
And Eric Stamp being scored as your race leader. He's only led 5 laps, and I'm not sure. Let's pull up some caution information here. Very quickly, brought to you by Interstate Synthetics. We have had 8 cautions for 36 laps and 8 different lead changes. So we have had quite a few different leaders here tonight, you know, at Martinsville. So I'm not really surprised with that. Some of those were under caution, but we've had quite a few under green flag as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So these guys should hopefully be getting the 1 to green this time. Maybe. See what the lights on the pace car do. I believe we'll be doing 2 more laps around here. It should be the 2 to go this time. we'll get the one to go next time around and hopefully be going green the lap after that.
That'll put us roughly with about 50 laps to go. Obviously, 142. It won't be quite at the 50 to go, but very close. We have 59 laps to go in this race. We had another little bit green flag run there, and then a caution coming out. So we'll see who is going to be this. You know, you ever been to those races where you go in there and you watch it and you just know who's going to win? They've been dominant all night. That is not one of these races. I have not the slightest who's going to walk away with the hardware after this race.
No, and you know, there's so many good drivers in this field, and we've had a couple incidents taking out some really fast drivers, and you know, others that are normally fast that are struggling, and it's just hard to tell who's going to win this race so far. But these guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing into the restart zone. They fire him off. Eric Stamp takes the green flag. He's going to get the advantage going down into turn one. Look out, Shane Tarrant looking to the inside. Not going to be able to make it work that time.
He is not. They're single filed for the first about 4 drivers back behind them. You've got 2 wide, and one of those is going to be Matt Dyer, who's 7 laps down. He is not just laying over and letting them go, though. He's right in the mix of things, trying to get his laps back. I have a feeling at this point, possibly the chances of him getting all those laps back are very slim, but I'm not going to say it's 100% out. But they are really starting to get together here between the 84, the 34, the 98, who almost makes contact with the 34, and the 79 and 29 back there as well.
3 wide battle for the lead up front. They were 3 wide for a moment. The 10 trying to take that position over. Tarrant tried to look into the inside of both of them. Now the 53 slides up the track. The 38's going to look under. Now heading down into turn 1. It's going to be Steve Durham with the lead. Stamp in second, Tarrant in third as they fall. But they were 3 wide for the lead at one point.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be interesting now because the 53, great driver, but I don't want to say he's been up there. He's led some under caution, but he really hasn't been up the front until that caution. The 38 and the 10, however, have been up at the front. So if them two can get bumper to bumper like they're about to right now, as the 38 of Therian gets by the 53, this is going to be a good battle here between the 10 and the 38.
That 38 machine trying to sneak up to the back bumper of the 10. As he does so now, a hard entry going down into corner number 1, now down into turn number 3. He's going to try it again. He's going to try a different line down through turn number 3, the one that he's been using pretty much all race to prove his fastest lap times. Right up to the back bumper now. He's going to look to the inside. It's going to be side by side down through corners number 1 and 2 now for the race lead. Shane Tarrant to the inside. Steve Durham to the outside in the 10. Down into corner number 3. They're going to stay side by side.
A different driver, but still the rookie versus the veteran, as the rookie is holding off that 38 machine of Therian. Durham not letting him by. He got right up to him and just would not let him by. You know, he's holding his own out there, but here comes Therian to the inside. A little bit of contact made, and that 38 will squeeze by, and the 10's going to go around.
Hard contact the inside wall.
And I don't think that contact was quite hard enough to send him around, but the caution will come out, so we'll go back and take a look at the 10 of Steve Durham and see what happened. And just because we can, we'll go to the aerial view here and see. There was a little contact, though.
There was a little bit of contact, but he was trying to take the aggressive stance, try to hold on to that lead, and he lit up the tires coming off the corner, and I'd say all by himself, he looped it around.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. You know, the contact that was made was in the corner, and then it was not contact that spun him. It was just, like you said, coming out of the corner. Those tires didn't quite like it, and just loops it around. He'll come down and get some fresh Goodyear tires on that number 10. Bronson Stafford coming with him, and for that matter, everybody that can come down pit road is.
All the lead lap cars coming down pit road now for some 4 fresh feel goods, and these guys gonna want to take them any opportunity that they can at this point, I'd say, until we get within about 20 laps to go. There's enough cars that are a lap down, and there's not that many on the lead lap at this point. You know, it's gonna be easy to try to race your way back up to the front if you have to.
Yeah, definitely it would be 7 on the lead lap, 8th through 13th are, of course, off the lead lap. The only one that's not on track, that hasn't been for a while, that's the 15 of Austin Torx. He's been on pit road for 21 minutes so far, trying to get every position he can, get as much damage repaired as he can. And it looks like Tanner Johnson now sitting on pit road for quite some time. He's been there for just over 2 minutes. But once again, the caution comes out, and that 53 is back up at the front.
53 cycles back up to the front after pit stops. So he's gonna try to play the strategy game here, try to keep his way up into the lead, which has proven to work at Martinsville here in the past many of times. So it will be an interesting way to look at this race. And if that's what he has to do to keep himself up into that position, that's going to be the best opportunity for him to win this race.
Yeah, you know, they tell you work harder, or smarter, not harder. You know, and that is as true for racing as it is anything else. Sometimes it's not about working harder and being the fastest one on the track. It's about strategy, getting yourself set up into the position to win. I believe it was the late great Dale Earnhardt Sr. that said it's not the fastest car that wins, and that is very true here in racing. Lights go off as we are seeing the pace car dive back onto pit road. We're going to have 43 laps to go when the green flag comes out, as it is about to do right now. And green flag is out, and we are racing. Eric Stamp out front, followed by Shane Therian, Logan Brakey, Dylan Browning, and Bronson Stafford, your top 5 here on the restart. And it's already going to be a good battle, and it looks like Shane Therian's going to take that lead back very quickly.
The 53 slid up the track just a little bit, and Taryn pulled a crossover on him, and Taryn back out front. That's dangerous for the rest of the field. We know his fastest lap times come in the clean air with that 38 machine, and well, everybody else going to have to trail behind him now. Top 3, Shane Taryn, Eric Stamp, and Logan Brakey back up even after incident. The 29 machine holding strong in that 3rd position.
Yeah, and this is where you have that slight advantage if you're the 53 of Eric Stamp, we talked about earlier, when he's so far away. As the 53 gets loose, bobbles it. Ooh, good save, but he's going to lose at least 1 spot. But as I was saying, you can see the leader. You can see what line he's running. You can try to mimic it. And we're not sure if the 53 was trying to do that, but that truck did not like whatever he did to it, as he does bobble it.
Out, around goes the 29. I believe he kept it straight. No, he did not. That's going to bring out a caution on the racetrack.
Caution on the racetrack. He spins it around. He will get it now going in the right direction. Let's go back and take a quick look and see what happened.
Oh, man. Heavy contact from the back. That was Bronson Stafford saying, hello, I want that inside line. And he got right up to the back bumper and unfortunately just hit him in a really bad spot. I don't think he expected the 29 to slide up the racetrack like that, and just hit him in a really bad spot on the back bumper, and around goes the 29.
Yeah, good news is that for everybody else behind him, they don't get involved in it. And there were definitely some close calls. But this time, the 38 of Shane Therian out front, followed by Eric Stamp. And then Dylan Browning. You were just down on pit road. Are you coming back down again?
At this point in the race, it's going to be a really tough call. I'm going to say no. For me personally, I think I'm going to try to wait it out to the end of this race. But of course, you know, it's up to these drivers. I think we're in a point now, hopefully hopefully, and hopefully I'm not jinxing it, that maybe we can go caution-free to the end of this thing.
Definitely will be interesting to find out if we can. Shane Therian, though, has led 71 laps. He has led the most laps of anybody here in this race. That does not mean anything. You can lead one lap and it be the last lap of the race, and that be the one that matters. So, again, and Shane actually coming down the road.
Pit road.
That I did
wow.
not see.
I didn't see that coming.
I'm in the same boat you are. The SSS or SS didn't know because we did not see him coming down. He is going to give up a max of about 6 positions, 7, as he'll drop to 7th position. That is the last car on the lead lap. Everyone that is not on the lead lap is multiple laps down. And that was close there. He's barely in the pit box there. And I'm not sure he's completely in it. That is a tough spot to be right there in the bend.
He's taken 4 of those Goodyear Eagles, and he's going to take off. And, you know, if that's what he has to do to set himself up or to have himself feel like he's set up to go the rest of the way with this race, then that's what he's going to do. And again, that's one of those team calls that I was talking about. It's on the team to put themselves in the best place, whether it's strategy-wise or position on the racetrack, to win this race. He knows he's got a fast race truck. He knows he can make his way up to the field. And now with fresh tires, once they get warm, I think he'll be in a good position.
I definitely will agree with you on that one. He's in 7th, but on the lead lap, got a fairly clean truck anyway, as it looks like we are getting set, and it is green flag is out, and we are racing one more time. The 53 of Eric Stamp got a huge jump, but it didn't last too long, as they're starting to reel him back in already, and Shane Therian already up to 4th from 7th in half a lap.
Looks like Stafford's going to be getting stuck on that outside. He's got the 34 to his inside now. It's going to be Robert Kenny trying to make something happen. Kenny falls off. He got loose off of turn number 4. Now Taryn looking at the inside of that 61 machine. Around goes your leader.
And he somehow goes around, but then manages to compose himself, so he'll be back to 7th place. But he will keep it going. No caution comes out. And now it's going to be a huge battle between Stafford and Therian. Kenny are the top 3 right now, but the battle, I think, is going to be between those front 2 drivers. Again, 2 veterans here in the league finding themselves up front, as they always do here with 31 laps to go.
Stafford slips up the racetrack just a little bit that time by. It almost opened up the door for that 38. I think Stafford, he just has to try to keep it consistent. You can't drive it in too deep. You can't let that bottom of the racetrack open up, because that's where that pass is going to be made, as he just did right there. Shane Tarrant to his inside of that 38 machine. Stafford trying to hold strong on that outside. He's trying to apex the corner the way he has to get that thing to roll on the outside. It's going to be side by side even still into turn number 3. Stafford going to clear for the lead once again.
You know, we talked about a little earlier how this track is similar to a super speedway. Another similarity, we're coming into the final laps, and we're getting all that action that we didn't see earlier. It was kind of a single filed out, but not the case here. 2 very competitive drivers going to be side by side, now bumper to bumper. Shane Therian just can't quite find a way around. Is Bronson Stafford doing everything he knows how to do to hold that 38 behind him.
Taryn tried to make an aggressive move down into turn number 1 that last time by. Didn't quite work out for him. He did reel him in just a little bit, however. He's right to the back bumper. Stafford it's in his hands not to make any mistakes here. He's got that big rear view mirror full of that 38 behind him. He's really got to just be careful and run a consistent line.
He really does, and we are coming up on 26 laps to go. That is not a lot of laps. You're thinking we're running 3 laps a minute, so you got around roughly 10 minutes of racing is what he's got left to hold off that 38 machine. The question is, can he do it? I don't know. I don't think you know. Time will tell, but he is doing a good job so far, and makes you wonder how much those tires on that 38 machine are going to get worn out as he is going to try every move possible to get by Stafford. And Stafford just really has to do his best at the job of blocking ever.
Yeah, the 61 taking a really defensive line on entry to these corners right now, and that's exactly what he has to do. He's entering a lot lower than the 38 machine is at this moment, and the only thing that he's going to have to watch with that is the run that he's getting off the corner. The 38 is going to get a lot bigger of a run out of the corner, but he's going to have that advantage in, and he's just going to have to play that to his advantage so the 38 can't dive bomb him going into these corners.
Yeah, and it looks like there for a minute I thought Therian was going to try to take it to the high side. Looks like he thought a little bit better of that, changed his mind. And as long as Stafford holds that bottom line, he did give a little bit of room there. Therian is not going to try to press any issues too bad, as we got a car going around the 51 back there, but so far no caution. And I'm not sure if you're the 61, do you want a caution or not here late in this race like this?
Absolutely not. If I've got him behind me, then that's good for me because I don't want him to be to my outside. Then he has a chance to possibly take that lead off the restart, and that's not what he wants. I don't think Taryn wants a caution either because he's got that inside line to his advantage. He can try to play with it. If he's got to restart, you know the 61 is going to choose the inside. Taryn doesn't want to be on that outside line. So neither one of these guys looking for a caution right now with coming up to 20 laps to go here.
At 20 to go. That is, again, 3 laps a minute. That's about 2, maybe 3 minutes left of racing. You know, they're thinking about it in laps, but you think about it in minutes. And that is not a lot of time to hold him off. He's just got to hit his marks. He's been doing it here for the last 15 or 20 laps. And Shane Therian, again, an aggressive driver, but he is not to the extent of wrecking aggressive. He will not wreck that 61, at least not on purpose anyway, to get the win. So, you know, that's to the advantage of the 61. You have those drivers, you know, that they'll bump you and wreck you to get by you. Shane Therian is not one of those drivers.
I think what Taryn's doing right now is he's buying his time. He doesn't want to make any super aggressive moves going into the corner. He doesn't want to use up his stuff too early, and he doesn't want to put too much heat in those tires too early that he won't be able to make a move later on. Because again, you know, you talk about almost 15 laps to go now, as I believe it's 17 to go. And, you know, you either wait for him to make a mistake, as Stafford just did there. Now it's going to be side by side for the lead once again into corner number 3. 61 on the outside, going to try to play defense once again. He slides up the track, and again, it's a drag race down the front stretch.
And if had that been in the final lap, the 61 would have still had it, but it's still side by side. The 61 still holding his own on the outside lane. I didn't think he'd be able to hold it as long as he has already, but right there, the 38 gets the advantage. But coming down of the straight, once again, the 61 beats him to the line. These guys are side by side in lap times, 20.776, 20.793. They are dead even, as they're dead even on the track as well.
The biggest thing that Stafford can do right now is try to pinch Taryn off. He's got to try to pinch off that line to try to eliminate that run off the corner. We know that the bottom side is the place that you want to be. The best thing to do if you're up top is to try to destroy the run off the corner from the bottom line. Taryn got a little bit loose there. That played an advantage to the 61 machine now. 38 still down low, 61 up top.
Yeah, it was, and it looked like after that bobble too, the 38 pushed up just a little bit, maybe trying to push that 61 a little bit further up the track to kill some momentum he had, as they are still side by side in theory, and once again getting loose out of the corner, as that has become the second time in a row, but I don't think it's going to work. No, Therian is going to take the lead that time, but I'm not going to say he's in the clears. They're still side by side.
Forget what I said about saving your stuff to the last like 10 laps or so, because that's out the window. These guys are coming up now on 11 laps to go, but they've been side by side for about 6 laps now already. These guys are trying to battle it out as hard as they can, each and every one of these, but it's really, really clean racing so far. And I say so far because once that white flag flies, it's gloves off.
It is indeed. And you talk about a highlight reel. Usually it involves quite a bit. This battle right here probably going to be the highlight reel of this race. As that time it was Bronson Stafford, I believe, that barely, and I mean barely, edged out the 38 of Shane Therian as they are still side by side. It begs to differ. How much longer can they stay side by side like this?
Bronson Stafford doing a really awesome job. He's really trying to jump on the mistakes of Taryn to that inside, and he's really running a really good line on that outside. He's kind of diving it in a little bit deeper than Taryn is, and he's entering just, he's trying to take an apex up on the high side. He has the room to do it, so that way he can try to pinch Taryn's line off on corner exit. Taryn now clears for the lead in that 38. Stafford looking to the inside. The 38 slips up the track. Now it's a 38 onto the outside. They switch roles. A little bit of contact there off of turn number 2.
That may just have done it. We'll see. 8 laps to go. Going to be 7 as they come to the line. After what we just saw, I'm not going to say the 38's done yet. We may have something yet between these two. As right now it's Stafford, then Therian in that order, but that could all change. As 7 to go, going to be 6 as they come into the front stretch. This is getting really interesting here towards these last few laps.
The 38 is still in striking zone. And again, we still have a couple of lap cars up ahead of these guys that are probably going to play an effect also. We got the 12 car up there that these guys got to get around also. Taryn still right on the back bumper of Stafford now. The 12 machine goes up out of the way. That won't be a factor. These guys still a bumper to bumper. 5 laps to go at the line.
We are now, of course, in the time that we would go into green-white checkered here. If a caution was to come out, right now neither one of these want to see a caution as they have battled it out. And quite frankly, I don't want to see one either because these two have done such a good job. Here comes the 38 back to the inside. We're going to go side by side here once again for another 4 laps to the shootout to the end of this race.
We've seen this before. The 38 on the inside, the 61 on the outside. Just coming up on 3 laps to go, this time by at the line. Shane Taryn and Bronson Stafford trying to battle it out. A little bit of contact there out of turn number 2 again. Stafford holds strong on the outside even still.
And it's going to be close. We very well could have a photo finish here as Martinsville's good about it. As this time the 38 going to get him at the line as it is now 2 laps to go side by side. I'm not sure who's going to get this one. But it is definitely a good battle. They are coming up to get it, of course, here this time. 1 to go, and that is, of course, your Eco. 1 to go, and we are battling to the end.
Stafford gonna try to get to the back bumper now down off turn number 2, down into corner number 3. Stafford, one last attempt, contact, not gonna get there off of turn 4. Your race winner, the 38 machine, Evil Controllers, Shane Taryn.
What a battle to the end for sure. Shane there in it, kicking up the win of that 38 machine, followed by Bronson Stafford and Robert Kenny. We, of course, will be talking to him, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, those two are teammates anyway, so should be a good one. If I'm not mistaken, it may be top 3 teammates as well. But the 38, not a lot of room to do donuts and burnouts, but he's going to do some here on the front stretch for you as we will get ready for the post-race show, and he's going to smack that outside wall and scrape it up just a little bit. We will be right back with your post-race show here from Martinsville on iRacing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. you in the market for a quality new or used car, truck, or SUV? Head on down to Sames Ford in Corpus Christi, Texas, and browse through their inventory today. You won't be disappointed. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here in the booth. We have got all three of your top three drivers here. And of course, we got Brandon still in the booth with us. What a battle it was. We'll be talking about that here in just a bit. But your third place driver here tonight is going to be Robert Kenny. Robert, you finished in third place here tonight. What are your thoughts coming into this track, and what are your thoughts leaving this track?
Well, coming to Martinsville, I usually start in park, which was the plan today because my thoughts on the track are not good for broadcasting, so I'll leave them be. But since there were a few early cautions, I decided to stay on track, get a few positions, but somehow I got a third place out of it. So I'm feeling sure, dumb luck.
You know, we talk about you all the time here, and the team as a whole. Anytime we see your team on the track, we know there's going to be some good racing, and we expect to see y'all up at the front during these races. And you did that just again here tonight. Track wasn't too terribly hot. What was the setup like here? I know early on we heard some drivers talking about how not the best setup, but you know, everybody's on that same setup. So how was that track handling out there?
Honestly, it feels like regular Martinsville to me. It would plow everywhere and then be loose off, but I drive trucks and cars way differently than everybody else, so it felt normal to me. But I guess if you know how Martinsville drives, it felt different.
Well, again, you didn't park it, and you ended up parking it in the podium here for a top three finish tonight. Overall, a great race for you. That being said, I'm sure you got some sponsors and a shout out you're going to give for a solid top three finish here tonight. So, who would those be?
Yeah, just shout out to Astro Gaming and Sim Speed Shop. They're on the truck every week. There are also contingencies on the other team trucks, and then just shout out to you for broadcasting and the admins for putting on the league. Then my teammates Shane Terrian, who won, Bronson Stafford, who finished in front of me, and then Matt Dyer and Austin Rhetorics, who didn't have the best of days.
Definitely, you know, you have ups and downs. Yours was an up here. Unfortunately, his was a down. But again, congrats on a third. Kind of went off a little bit off script there for Brandon. But Brandon, we will hand it to you here for second and first. As we both know, it was a really good battle between them. And we'll let you talk to them both.
Yeah, you know, Bronson Stafford coming home with a solid second place finish. I know it's not the position you wanted to be in, but it was an awesome run nevertheless. How you?
Pretty good. I don't beat Shane. We've raced together many years, and I don't beat him except on super speedways. And tonight was a good chance, and didn't get there. Almost try to give him a shot in the last corner, but really great team result overall. 1, 2, 3, and then we had Matt Dyer up there leading some laps early in the first stage and stuff. So really strong as a team, which is the big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you were showing solid speed all night. I think everybody had mistakes throughout the night. You know, coming off that last restart, what was going through your mind? You knew what you needed to do, or were you just kind of play it by ear?
I think all night was kind of a play it as it came kind of thing. It was really hard to predict really what was going to happen with how the race started. All the yellows, we weren't sure if we were going to go green or if we were going to, kind of have a more caution-filled race. And we fuel-wise were just short of making it, kind of thing, without pitting throughout the stages. So if we went green, it was really going to open up whether or not when to pit, when not to pit, and I had the nice little lead going on, and then I spun out on the next restart, and so it was up and down all night. It was really just kind of play it as it happened because you couldn't really control much else, it seemed.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a good, solid run. Finishing like that, you guys were side by side for how many laps, and it's nothing to look down upon for sure. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank or shout out to for your runner-up finish tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. We always have Cineplex and GoPro on the car, or truck tonight. We've had Cineplex with a good couple of years, and Sky Motorsports guys back at that shop. We've actually the last couple of weeks throughout leagues in general, we've bought really fast cars and had some really good results. So I think we've really found the perfect time to bring fast cars, and we're getting closer to chase time for this league. So hopefully we keep doing that. And huge shout out to you guys for the broadcast and TJ and them for throwing up the league. It's been a fun season so far. Let's close it out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bronson, for talking with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher, Bronson Stafford. Moving over here in the line, victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out of the race car now. Your winner tonight at Martinsville, Shane Taryn. And Shane, you had an awesome run. You had an awesome race car all night. Tell us how good this victory feels.
It feels good. I think I have an average finish of third at this track, so to win is good. But to do it with a 30 to 40 lap side-by-side battle with Bronson was very, very fun. So it's pretty good. I wasn't gonna give it to him, and I thought for sure he was gonna wreck me in turns 3 and 4 because I expected it, but he hit the curb and I didn't get the advantage to get underneath me. It worked out.
There was some awesome racing, and it says something for the two of you to be side by side for that long at what everybody considers to be a one groove racetrack. You both did an awesome job and racing like that all night. Obviously, Shane, you had your ups and downs throughout the whole night. Just run through the race for us.
Oh, I was not going to be the fastest truck. Ryan Hartz had the fastest truck, but he had issues early. He wrecked himself in 3, and then he got wrecked. I think the restart after that. So basically, just opened the door for me into the first stage. I almost lapped the whole field, and then I got some damage in a wreck, and I just kept pitting every time I had a chance to because there wasn't that many cars. I just wanted the freshest tires every time. So that's why I kept pitting. That's why I kept going to the back because I knew I could get back to the front, and then I wasn't expecting Bronson to be able to keep me there and still pull away from the field. So, but at the end, I came up on top once again against him.
You guys had an awesome run for sure. And again, coming out on top tonight, is there anybody that you'd like to thank or shout out to for your performance here?
Yeah, I'm going to thank you guys for broadcasting. I'm glad we could put on a show at the end. I know it was probably annoying in the beginning, but I'm glad we could end it on a very strong note. Thank my team, Sky Motorsports. We finished 1, 2, 3 tonight. And Bronson for keeping it as clean as possible that we could here at Martinsville, trying not to hit each other. And then my sponsor, Evil Controllers, has been with me for 7 years now.
Awesome run. Good to talk to you again in Victory Lane here. Ladies and gentlemen, that was your winner of the night here at the Martinsville Speed.
There we go. It's been a great race overall. Again, on behalf of myself, Brandon, all the guys, racers, everyone here at the Adrenaline iRacing League, we hope you enjoyed the race. Brandon, any final words before we sign off for the night?
Well, obviously, awesome running tonight, and going to be back in the broadcast booth. And thank you for everybody that gives us the opportunity to come out here and do this for you, including all of our sponsors for the channel.
All right. Well, safe travels for everyone. We'll be back, I believe, Wednesday with some more dirt track racing here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And, of course, follow us on Facebook for all the latest information.